Welcome back to Phoenix as we get ready to race. Some beautiful country around this racetrack. A lot of cactus here. Hey, Phil, you ever been up on that hill?
Mike, they call that Rattlesnake Hill, and if they're going to call it Rattlesnake Hill, I'm not
You're
going
not
up
going.
there. Absolutely.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. There's our pole sitter, Brendan Newberry.
Yeah, more than likely just adjusting his steering wheel. It's really important to have the spokes in the right place.
We see Greg Pursley starting second, and as Phil told you, he won the last time this series raced here back in the fall. And that number 31, I think that's going to be an interesting story today, Ty Dillon.
Absolutely. Won the last two ARCA Racing Series races back last year. Going to run for the championship in the ARCA Racing Series this year.
He is, of course, the grandson of Richard Childress, and a lot of folks think he has a ton of talent. Another story in this race and another rookie. We have, I think, some outstanding rookies running this race today, and that is Derek Thorne. You mentioned he had a great run, I thought, at Irwindale in the shootout.
Sure did. Sat on the pole out there as well as finished with a top 10 finishing position. There's Brendan Newberry going to come up and get his rightful spot up there on the pole. Ty Dillon thought for a minute he might get to start on the pole, but not so fast.
All right, let's take a look at our starting grid. Andrew Ranger normally runs in the east. Watch out for him today.
He won in both series last year. Won a road course race out on the west and one on the east as well.
Luis Martinez Jr. still getting better almost with every race. You can see his improvement.
You see our Canadian champion from last year, DJ Kennington, starting back in row 12, finished second at the showdown in late January.
And there's our champion, Eric Holmes, who's going to have to, Phil, go to the back of the field.
Yeah, that's it's going to be tough here because of that engine change. But if anybody can get it done, it's Eric Holmes.
And Jack Sellers, who seems like he's been around this series, well, for a long time anyway.
From the start, actually.
There is Travis Pastrana, and if you don't know a lot about this young man, he has excelled in a lot of things, and a lot of folks think he's going to be pretty good at this.
He's excelled at everything he's ever done, and it's amazing what he's done in his very young life here. But terrific job out here. Again, these things are brand new to him, and he comes out here against this tough field and qualifies in the top 10.
Phil, do you believe that some racers just have it when they get inside a race car?
Without a doubt, without a doubt. And it looks to me from seeing him at the showdown and what he's done so far, he's one of those guys that has it.
Well, our pace car is pulled down on the pit lane. We're about ready to go green and get the start on a new season here in the K&N Pro Series West.
Good even start. Greg Pursley from the outside trying to take over that top spot from Brendan Newberry. He's got it. Oh, he gets a little bit sideways.
Phil, we've talked about the rookies in this race and Newberry starting on the pole. How hard is it when you first come to this racetrack to figure it out?
It is very, very difficult. Again, we talked about the difference in this racetrack. You see this corner down here, a little more wide and sweeping, a little bit flatter than the other end, and a little really tight when they get down to turn 1 and 2, trying to get that car to turn and go the other direction.
Well, fortunately, we've had a good, clean start here. You see Ty Dillon in the 31, Andrew Ranger in that 35, and there is Derek Thorne in that 44, who's right alongside of Andrew Ranger.
You know, I didn't know a whole lot about Derek Thorne prior to the Toyota Showdown, but he actually, as he slips up a little bit in turn 3, allows Andrew Ranger to get to the inside in that battle for 4th. But he actually ran an East race back in Nashville about 2 or 3 years ago and had a top 5 run.
And we might mention we've seen Andrew Ranger really excel in this series on road courses, trying to get it done on the oval here today. David Mayhew in the 17. Boy, he's had, I think, a great career in this West Series.
There's Travis Pastrana right now, racing with Michael Self in the 21 car. There's Taylor Kusick in the 42 right behind Travis.
Michael Self's car owned by Jim Offenbach. He also owns the 31 that Ty Dillon is driving in the race today.
Brendan Newberry opens up about a 6-car length lead over Greg Pursley.
Phil, the fact, and you mentioned this about tire strategy, you can only change 2 tires. You got to be a little careful here early.
You really do, and you don't want to abuse these tires because you're not sure exactly how long you're going to have to run them. Great side-by-side battle here for the 3rd spot, Derek Thorne and Ty Dillon.
2 young drivers who I think you're going to be hearing a lot from in the future, Thorne and Dillon. And as Phil told you, Ty Dillon's not going to run many races in this series. But looks like he's got a good feel for that race car here today.
Had a good run in November in the West Series out here, finished in the 3rd spot right behind Michael Waltrip. And then he won in the East at Gresham Motorsports Park.
You walk up and down the garage in this series, and I think almost everybody will tell you This is their favorite racetrack to come to. This is a racetrack that means so much. It's so big, so fast.
You know, this rivals Loudon back in the East. If you're talking to the East Series guys, they're going to talk about Loudon being their Daytona of the East Series, and I think this is the Daytona of the West Series here.
You got a guy, for example, like Jim Englebright, who's only running a limited schedule, said, I'm going to skip the showdown because I want to run Phoenix.
Yeah,
that's important too.
Andrew Myers, another guy that runs a limited schedule, but always shows up here at Phoenix.
Well, it's Brendan Newberry, the rookie, the pole sitter, who continues to set the pace here. Greg Persley running second. And I really do think everybody right now is being patient, trying to find themselves a little bit. And really, again, as you said, pit strategy is going to be the interesting story.
Yeah, they have to run 100 laps here. They can only run about 75 or 80 laps on fuel. So they know they're going to have to put a little bit of fuel in, as well as put those two right side tires on.
You know, and that's the big difference in this race and most of the 150 lap races we have on short tracks, where you don't take any tires, you don't take any fuel, you pretty much go with what you got from the green on.
Yeah, but this 1 mile racetrack here can be abusive on tires, and tires can certainly make a big difference. You see Travis Pastrana in a good side-by-side battle with Daniel Suarez. I tell you, every lap that Travis runs, he learns, and he's getting better and better and better. Gets the advantage on Suarez. They're coming off of turn number 4.
The 42 there of Taylor Kuzik joining in that battle. I'm impressed from what I've seen from Pastrana. Hard to believe that he's a rookie.
I mean, very, very raw rookie as well. I mean, his only stock car experience being the showdown here a few weeks ago.
That is absolutely amazing. Newberry setting the pace.
See Persley running a little bit higher line down there in 3 and 4, trying to get a little bit more grip. There's a third place car right there. Derek Thorne in the 44, Ty Dillon in 4th in the 31.
We had a huge field to start this race, 36 cars, and already we started to see a couple of cars getting lapped here.
Actually had 37 cars here. Johnny Borneman cut a tire down, got in the wall, did not have a backup car. Johnny always runs extremely well out here. Unfortunately, not able to make the start.
Yeah, tough break for Johnny Borneman. Back in the pack, there is Jim Englebright. I was just talking about him a moment ago, battling with Moses Smith. And you know what? It is great to see Brett Thompson back in this series. He says he's going to run full-time this year, has only been able to run a limited schedule the past couple of seasons.
Yeah, Brett's a former winner in this series, won back at Mesa Marin about 5 or 6 years ago. A lot of experience right there in that 3-car battle. Moses Smith, top 10 in points the last 3 years. There's Englebright. He's won 3 times in this series. And Brett Thompson.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see which of those cars could make their way to the front. Brett Thompson won the last race that was ever run in this series at Bakersfield, California.
Saw Luis Martinez in the 6-car right in front of them. He was our 2010 K&N Pro Series Rookie of the Year.
Englebright, who is best known as a road racer and the last couple of years has really limited his schedule to running those road races, actually ran a cup race at Sonoma one year.
For RCR. I think he won 3 tour races out there in a row at Sonoma at Infineon Raceway.
The 0-2 is Darrell Haar, a Canadian. He and his dad are both in the race.
Yeah, Darrell finished 6th in this race last year, so he can get it done here.
Darrell and Carl Haar, 2 legends on the short tracks up in Canada.
Both of those guys won the CASCAR Series championship, which was the forerunner of NASCAR Canada.
Moses Smith trying to put a move here on Luis Martinez.
Nice move there. Jumped in the throttle in the center of the corner, able to clear Luis. Pulls up on Andrew Myers in the 77.
I know he just got passed, but I like Martinez. Bill Sedgwick has really mentored him. He has improved so much over the last year or 2.
Had a great 3rd place run at Colorado National last year for his best finish.
Martinez in that 6-car right there in the middle of your screen.
Moses Smith able to make the pass on Andrew Myers in the 77.
You know, Moses Smith is another local driver from Tempe, Arizona, here in the Phoenix area.
4th in the points last year. Good year for Moses. Hasn't quite broken the ice and got that first win yet.
But he knows he has a great shot driving a Bill McAnally car, which most people would say are the best cars in this series.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see him get to victory lane this year. Ty Dillon jumps by the 44 to take over the 3rd spot from Derek Thorne.
The youngster showing some talent here at Phoenix.
Andrew Ranger staying right with the 44 of Derek Thorne. You see now Jonathan Gomez in the 22 joins that battle. Oh, he's got a spinner.
That is the 88 of Troy Ermish, who's turned around and has brought out our first caution of the day.
Only 15 laps in. I think it's going to be too early for these guys to come to pit road.
We're under caution here at Phoenix. Brendan Newberry, our pole sitter, still out in front. Greg Persley running second.